Hey, how are things going? It's Sam with Get Free Than RV. Had a few minutes, thought I would do what I could to finish my story from the other day. And actually I was thinking about it and I got some of my facts wrong. Like I said, Diane is really good about remembering all the details and everything, and then as we were talking about it, and as I was kind of reviewing with her what I had shared with everybody, we both just kind of looking at each other going, well, it's not exactly how it happened, but close enough. I mean, it really kind of doesn't affect the main thing I was trying to convey, in that hey, I'm in the Lance here. I'm just kind of walking around, not telling you guys what's up, just kind of doing my thing, and I thought I'd come out here and finish it out at the Lance. Earlier I was out here cleaning it. There was some work I had to do to the wiring and some stuff to the flooring, so I thought while there we go, she still works. Lance has been sitting all winter, and you never know when things are going to decide that they all of a sudden need repair. So anyway, it works. So yeah, the Lance just had kind of fallen apart. It's clean now. It's good to go. I made the bed and had cabinets out and tools everywhere. I still need to sweep the floor, but it's clean and ready to go. In fact, earlier out here we were playing darts. Diane's got, I won't show you, but Diane's got a little tiny set of darts, and we were playing. She basically won. She did way better than me. But anyway, yeah, like I was saying the other day on my last video, I was kind of explaining, who we are, who I am, what's going on, what are some of the things that make us tick, why are we where we are, what are some of our decisions and why. And I believe the last I had left it was that as my choice, I had lost my job. And when you get to that point, you think, oh, I'll just get another job. But it's interesting. I've heard most of my life that when you're older, getting a new job is not the easiest, and I'm kind of finding that out. As a younger person, pretty much anywhere and everywhere I applied, it went really, really well. But I don't know if that's the economy or my exact age. I really don't know, but it wasn't easy. So yeah, it gets difficult when you need to pay the bills and you got a wife to take care of, and you have nothing coming in, so you start thinking, what am I going to do about it? So basically we started searching, and like I said, we were in Pennsylvania a little while. We came back to South Carolina. One of the parts of the story that I kind of got shuffled around backwards was that we didn't have a fifth wheel when we were in Colorado, when we were caretakers at the lodge, and when we were living near Kinsey, our daughter. We didn't have one, but shortly after leaving Colorado, and I was sketching roofs there, and then I was back here, and when we were in Pennsylvania, we had bought a fifth wheel. And the idea was to have the fifth wheel and live down in South Carolina part of the time where my son lives, and then live up in Pennsylvania part of the time where Kinsey, my daughter, was. Toby, our son, Kinsey, our daughter. So 6 months here, 6 months there, and because here again I had the remote job, we would do that. And so yeah, that kind of had, the loss of that job kind of had a way of affecting the fact that we were going to live and bounce back and forth between the kids. So then when that fell through, that's when I decided I would do some, insurance adjusting, get in the fifth wheel. So we ended up being in Florida for about 6 weeks. And then the catastrophe ended, and so we moved from Florida. And that kind of started the idea of like, where's Sam and Diane now? Are you in Florida, back from Florida? And so that's when life started getting crazy. And then, at some point, insurance adjusting had ended. I really wasn't sure where we were heading. I had nothing in the works as far as income. So, I started to compile again, what are my skills, what are my desires, and basically we were at the point where we thought, let's see what Sam has done and what he may want to do, what could Diane contribute. So we started looking at ranch jobs, caretaker jobs, ranch management jobs. I even thought about wrangler jobs over in Colorado and Wyoming and Montana. With my horse experience, heading up a barn, managing a barn, or if I had to, I would just lead a trail of trail horses if I had to, and work my way up. So I started looking, and that's when we were still in Pennsylvania at that point. I had gone up there to Pennsylvania to be near Kenzie and Aaron, and I had found a job at basically kind of a venue where they would have weddings. They did have trail rides, and they had hired me as one of the horse people that would work with the horses and also drive the carriage and the draft horse team. And so we were up there, and my wife was actually administrative help for a tiny house outfit up there, and we had been there a little while. And this was after I had looked into working out west, as like a horse person or ranch job or, that sort of thing. So we were in Pennsylvania working, and everything was going fine. And then I got a phone call. So one of the phone calls was the owner to one of the ranches out west. It wasn't a horse cattle ranch, it was a hunting ranch where they shot and hunted mule deer and elk. And so I kind of told him right in the beginning off the phone that I had applied like a good, 4 to 6 weeks before that, and I was already set up and things were going good, but hey, he sounded nice enough. Let's go ahead and talk about it and see what we can come up with. Well, we probably talked for about 2 hours, and he was just a nice, welcoming person that I just kept asking questions. He kept asking me questions. And by the end of the phone call, we were invited to Texas to meet and just continue exploring the options. So that's what we did. We flew up. I think it was within a week. We met him, saw the place, which here again took my heart. It was amazing. Wildlife was everywhere. It was gorgeous. It was amazing. I had lived in California and in Texas before, so it kind of brought me back to some of those old memories. And so that's what we did for a little while. And then, we had concerns with that job. Although it was right up my alley, it was remote. Or actually, whatever 5 or 6 stages past the word remote is what that was. Yeah. For example, the driveway took an hour to go down. It was 10 miles of shale-ridden driveway, which was interesting because you could see wildlife all the way in, all the way out. It'd be javelina, elk, mule deer. You never knew what you'd end up seeing that day. So it was awesome, but we had me, another guy, and then another gal, and my wife working there. So we were on 50,000 acres, and just a few of us. So my wife needed socialization, and she needed Walmart, and she needed some of the conveniences that, well, both of us were actually used to. One time we had to get our teeth worked on, and we had to travel 4 hours away. We contemplated actually staying the night somewhere, just to make it easier so we wouldn't have to rush up and rush back. So it was pretty remote. And then after about 5 months, Diane just simply couldn't take it anymore. So it was at about that time, my son, Toby, in his life, he had kind of worked it out to the point where he was 100% sure that he was going to start a lawn care business. So about a week after hearing that, I called him back. And, after hearing that Texas wasn't going to work for us anymore, we heard from him. We called back a week later, and then I said, hey, what if we join up together, and what if we do this? And then you could hear it in his voice. He was very excited and very relieved. So we pooled our resources, pooled our experiences, and we basically started a company. And from this point right now, that was back in November of 2019. So we haven't been in business very long. But, since living in the RV ended, my insurance adjusting wasn't working out, and living 6 months in Pennsylvania and 6 months in South Carolina wasn't working out because my remote job ended, then I thought, okay, well, we've got to be permanent. I've got to do a real job or a real business or something so we can, live and pay the bills and all. So our transient moving here, there, and everywhere thing kind of ended. So it ended up working out. And incidentally, while we were in Texas and before, when we were in Colorado, we actually rented our house out. And so that worked out real well. The first time we hadn't ever met them, but they were great renters. And then the second time, it was a dear old friend of mine that, I'd known him for like 35 years. So it worked out well. So when we first came back, he was still renting here, and it was working out real well for him to be here. However, he needed to change his dwelling place so his son could be in a different school. So he notified us that he would be moving, 3 or 4 months later. So then Diane and I started gearing towards living in the house instead of in the fifth wheel. So that's actually probably the first time in several years that we had lived in our house or an actual sticks and bricks home. So it was good. I think we've been there a year now, so it's been nice. So we're in our house. Now the fifth wheel, just to give you a little bit of background on that, we bought it in Missouri, and we bought it with some water damage. And we knew there was water damage, and it had a salvage rebuildable title. And the reason we bought it was because we got it, for a much cheaper price, like $5,000 to $10,000 cheaper than if it was in good shape. So I looked at the water damage, and I knew that I could fix it. And so then I knew that if we bought it and I fixed it, it may take somewhere between $500 and $1,500 to fix it. That once sold, and we knew we'd probably end up selling it someday, that we'd have instant equity built in. So we've still got it. I'm still trying to fix it, and it's going real well. One, we've been busy starting a business, and two, with the water damage, it's it's in the roof, so there's got to be either I tarp it during bad weather, or I open it up and dry everything out and do a little bit of work and then retarp it. So it makes it a little difficult. I'm definitely on the home stretch right now, and I'll probably get up there and show you guys a video soon. But it'll be done pretty soon. Then after the roof is completely sealed away, I had already started on the kitchen floor. Right below the roof leak was the kitchen floor, so it had like a 3 foot by 4 foot area that was real soft. So I had cut that out, and I've replaced it, and it's ready for new flooring. It's kind of done, but I didn't want to continue further until I had fixed the roof. I just didn't want to put new flooring in and then somehow I'd get ruined. So I've just about got that wrapped up, and then we'll sell the fifth wheel probably in about a month. Right now it's April, so I'm hoping May, early June it'll sell, just right when everybody's really starting to travel. So I think that's going to go well. So we've got the Lance here, we've got the fifth wheel parked over in the woods near the house, and then we're living in our house. So hopefully that gives you guys a better idea of where we've been, where we are, and kind of like where we're heading. I know some people that kind of keep up on Facebook or text every now and then. I think they think you know, they shouldn't even bother because they don't know where I'm at or if they're going to offend me by asking or whatever. But hopefully that'll give you guys that are just starting to get to know me a little idea of, you know, what makes Diane and I tick, and kind of like what we went through and what we're still going through. You know, basically at this age, when you lose your job and you lose, like I said in the other video, your remote job, it has a way of seriously affecting your plans. So we're recuperating now. We're in the house. I'm very close to finishing the fifth wheel and getting ready to sell it. And then the Lance is here. The water leak in the slide caused a little bit of damage, but if I had to use the Lance right now, I could. However, I almost welcome the opportunity to fix it to gain some more experience. And then on the inside of the fifth wheel, it'd be great to be able to panel it, paint it, or put some sticky paper or do something so we can have a chance to customize it. Like right now, it's in great shape. I mean, but it looks like your basic, you know, 2004 Lance, like the rest of them do. It's got the kind of the blue splotchy wallpaper, and you know, it's got the valances. So, you know, for a true Lance person, it's fine. And you know, we fell in love with Lances, so you know, we're good to go. But man, if you watch any YouTubes or get online and you see some of the customizations that people have done, they look so homey. And I don't think we'll ever live in this Lance. However, I mean, I would not mind living in it for a month or two at a time, you know, while out west visiting different places or national parks, or going to see my sister in Denver, or going back up to see Kinsey and Aaron in Pennsylvania. It'd be so sweet. Like every time you open the door and come in, you're just, I don't want to leave. It's so homey here. It's so nice and comfortable. So we do look forward to that, and it'll be fun. So that's kind of where we are with those three dwelling places. One interesting thing to just kind of throw in there, and I may or may not do you know, a separate video. It may take that much time, I'm not sure. But our actual last camping trip up to North Carolina in the Smoky Mountains, I had engine failure in the truck. So it's at the mechanic shop right now with some good people just up the road. So they're gonna fix it, but what we're gonna end up doing is putting a remanufactured engine in there. By the time we take apart the parts that, you know, need to be fixed or reworked, and then inspect and rework some of the other areas that could have been affected, it'll be as much or more than a remanufactured engine, and then you won't have the warranty. You'll just have your old parts in there. You'll pay a lot in labor, and then you'll have a great outfit but no warranty. With a remanufactured engine, you're up to like 100,000 miles in 3 years. So I mean, that's pretty good stuff. Plus I think I'm gonna do some upgrades, probably get a bigger turbo, put some gauges on there, so I'm assured that the same thing doesn't happen again. So anyway, that's what we'll probably do there. So right now, that's why the Lance is up on its legs. That's why it's sitting here in the front yard just staring at me every day going, take me out, it's so fun. So anyway, we cannot wait to get out on the trail, camping again. It's going to be tons of fun. We've got people we've met online now that we'd like to go meet and camp with. I'd love to go park up in the parking lot of my daughter and son-in-law, see the granddaughter, stay up there for three days to a week, you know, something like that. So anyway, that's where we are. And fortunately, you know, our old garden that we put up when we used to live here, when we first built the house, it needed some work, but we got it back in line. I think my third or fourth video that I put out, it kind of shows you a quick swing through. There may be some time if you're interested, definitely comment, but there may be some time if you're interested. I could kind of go through the garden and give you kind of a step-by-step of the theory of some of the things we've done with the mulch and you know, with some of the hog panel usage that we did. Some of our plans of which plants that we want to trail on the ground and which ones we want for them to climb, and how we're going to handle that, such as the spaghetti squash and zucchini. So that'd be totally fun if y'all needed that or wanted that. I could do that. So anyway, we're land dwellers right now, not on wheels. We're happy doing that. Diana's definitely happy doing that. She kind of wanted to grow roots for a while and dig her toes in the dirt, because for about a year and a half, we were everywhere. We weren't sure how our bills were going to get paid. Any gray hairs you see was from that time. Now Diane and I, we've grown closer. We've kind of had to stare at each other and think, what have we done? What are we going to do? Who are we? We're just coming out of that. It was a real crazy, tough time when you have all that thrown at you. So we're still just kind of coming out of shock. So that's where we are. We look forward to waking up every day, drinking coffee, thanking the Lord above for blessing us and taking care of us. We like where we're going. We like where we are. And we're super, super excited. I was just in the house with her a second ago, and she's listening to Chip and Joanna Gaines. They have a book on tape. So she's listening to that, and they're laughing her hiney off. She's having a blast. And she's actually preparing some cuttings to dip in rooting hormone and then put in the dirt to plant all over the property. So she's in her element. She's doing great. She's repairing her scarred soul from living remotely in Texas and from living in a camper in Pennsylvania when it was about to snow. It was really hard on her, really hard. So that's what we're up to, and we're doing good. But I appreciate you guys watching. I really appreciate you guys watching. It's interesting to open up your life like a book, but at the same time, I feel like I'm going to hear from you guys. I'd love to hear your thoughts, your comments. You know, if you identify where I'm coming from, if you've got any ideas that have popped into your head and haven't popped into mine, it'd be great to hear from you. So for now, I'm going to close. Probably within a week or 2 weeks, I may have some more thoughts just to kind of unfold the story of our life and where we're heading, and some ways we've made money, some ways we hope to make money in the future. Because like you know, my goal is to travel, live in a camper as much as Diane and I want, and still be able to make money. So that's kind of where we are with that. But I'm gonna let you guys go. I appreciate it. Appreciate you, and y'all stay safe as always, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.